Hi, I'm Crystal, the parenting coach. Parenting is a thing that some of us just expected to know how to do. It's not like other areas of your life where you go to school and get taught, get on-the-job training, or have mentors to help you. But now you can get that help here. I believe that your relationship with your children is one of the most important aspects of your life and the best way that you can make a positive impact on the world and on the future. I've made parental relationships my life study, and I use life coaching tools, emotional wellness tools, and connection-based parenting to build amazing relationships between parents and their children. If you want an even better relationship with your child, this podcast will help you. Take my parenting quiz at the link in the show notes. Once we know what your parenting style is, we will send some tips tailored to you and a roadmap to help you get the most out of my podcast. Welcome to today's podcast episode, The Art of Receiving. So this is the last podcast episode we're going to be doing of this season. Then we're going to be taking a 6-week break, and we'll be back shortly. During that 6-week break, you can catch up on any of your favorite episodes, or you can go back right to the beginning and listen to maybe some that you missed that are really good. If you go on www.coachcrystal.ca/blog, there's a little search bar there about halfway down the page, and you can type in anything from like emotions or teens or screens or connection or relationships or whatever you want. And episodes will come up specific to that topic. So we have done a lot of episodes. I don't even know how many. I'm guessing like over 150 now. So there is a lot of content there for basically any question you could ever have. And if there's something you'd really love to see from me over this next season, be sure to reach out at Crystal at coachcrystal.ca and let me know. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here with me throughout this season. As I've been pondering the last while, I had a lot of ideas come to mind, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to record for our last episode here. I knew I wanted it to be a solo episode with me, but I wasn't sure what the most important message would be for me to send out. And as I was kind of tuning in intuitively over the last few weeks, the phrase kept coming to me, the art of receiving. And as I dwelled more on that phrase and leaned more into it and thought more about it, I realized that that was an answer for the podcast episode. And that's what I needed to share this week. So I will be sharing that today. I'll be talking about what receiving is, what blocks us from receiving. And I'll also be talking, I'll give you 3 kind of tips or tools or opportunities you can take away that can help you to receive more right now. I was recently with some friends in Montana on a little trip, and I took some time to go sit out in the woods by a little stream and just sat there. And I just breathed and I closed my eyes and I just sat listening to nature. And it was so calming. It was so relaxing. And I've realized over the last few years, oftentimes this message comes to me that nature has been very healing for me. It's been a big part of my journey of like shift and change and growth. And in that moment, the words that came to me were, in the stillness, we receive. When we take those moments of stillness, especially stillness in nature, we receive so much. We receive ideas, we receive light, we receive understanding, we receive calm presence. We are full. We just are full of receiving. I can just imagine myself sitting there and I could just feel the energy, everything around me just filling me and fueling me. And in those moments of stillness and in those moments of nature, we can receive so much. Receiving to me is a very feminine energy. And again, if you've listened to me talk about feminine and masculine energy, it doesn't mean male or female. Male is very logical and structured and concrete and linear. And feminine energy is very flowing and very intuitive and emotional. And on the masculine energy side of things, we have giving and really like getting things done. And on the feminine energy side of us, we have receiving. Now, we both have all these energies inside of us. Like we have masculine and feminine energy with us, but we are often more tuned into the masculine than the feminine. Everybody really is. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. And so receiving really is an art. Digging into this feminine side of how to receive more, no matter who you are, is going to take some practice and take some time. I want you to think about how you receive compliments. So if we were talking about compliments, I want you to think about you're out in the world and someone's like, I love your outfit, or I love what you did with your hair, or you look so pretty today, or you did a great job on such and such. How do you receive that? Now, for me, receiving means like openness. Like I literally imagine myself like having my arms open to the universe and it's just like raining things down and I'm taking it in. Do you actually receive those compliments? Because I used to never receive those. I'd just be like, oh, this thing, like, oh, it was cheaper. Oh, I got it here. Or like, I would just start talking about like more tactical, logistical things. And I would let the compliment not be received. It would just fall off my back. I want you to think about if that's true for you. Imagine you are somewhere and someone is trying to give you a compliment. Do you actually receive it? Allow yourself to allow it and bring it in and take it in and believe it. What about love? If somebody tries to give you a hug or tell them you that they love you or look at you in the eyes or connect with you in some way, how often do you receive it versus not receive it? Do you kind of just turn away? Are you too busy? Are you looking at your phone? Are you kind of ignoring what's going on? Like, how often do you receive the love that is just all around you and present and waiting to be given to you? Pause for a moment to think about that also. Like, are you receiving the love that's around you? I also think this comes with money as well. Um, I noticed when we got home from our trip, I was like so excited. I was like going through our letters and like there would be like little receipts, refunds, whatever we were getting from different places. And I'd like open them up and I really allowed myself to receive that in the moment. I remember there was this one for homeschooling funding because where we live, we get support with homeschooling. And I opened it up and I just sat with it for a minute and I allowed myself to feel it, to feel the gratitude and the abundance from that. And even like small little ones, like I don't even know, but there was some refund for something small. It was like less than $50. And I remember I even paused in that moment to allow myself to like really receive the feeling of that, receive the gratitude, receive the abundant feeling of being given that and that was coming to me. And so I don't mean just receiving money as in like, yeah, I get money from a check every month from work or whatever, but like, do we actually receive it? Are we grateful? Are we sitting there in that feeling? Are we taking it on? Or are we not? This is what receiving means to me. And I really believe that the more we receive, the more we get. And then we continue to receive, and the more we get. The more we're open to receiving, the more that will come to us in all these areas: money, connection, love, um, compliments, all of those things are coming to us and they're available to us if we are open to receiving them. Now, I'm going to talk about the thing that blocks that because what I've noticed through doing a lot of coaching and a lot of hypnotherapy sessions recently is the thing that's blocking us from actually receiving is self-worth. When I talk about manifestation and I'm like talking to people about what it means and how they can, create their dreams and create these things in their mind and call them in, the thing that blocks them the most from being able to call them in is self-worth. And I've noticed that that's the thing that blocks us from receiving whatever it is that we want to receive. Self-worth is, do I feel worthy of this? Do I feel like open or loving enough of myself to actually receive it? And so many times the answer for us is no. Like on the surface, maybe I'd be like, yeah, I really want that thing. And I'm like ready and willing to get it. But do we actually believe that we are capable of it? Do we actually believe that we are worthy enough to receive the thing? And again, I want you to just pause for a moment and think about your answer to that question. Are you open to receiving that? Or is there some amount of not feeling like it's for you, not feeling like you are of worth, not feeling like you are doing enough, maybe feeling like there's something different between you and other people that makes it so that you can't receive? I say that because all of those thoughts that have come up for me and for others as we dig into this work. I've been doing a lot of hypnotherapy sessions lately, and we don't just dig into the surface thoughts of like, I'm frustrated about this, or my partner did this, or this is overwhelming me. Like we can talk about those, but we get to the real depths and the root of what's happening under the surface. And oftentimes it is this self-worth. And so I just want to offer, if we're noticing that we're not totally open when it comes to receiving, ask yourself, how is my self-worth doing? Do I feel like I am worthy enough to receive this thing, that I'm valuable enough, that I myself am enough, and that I can receive the things that I want to receive that are open for me. Because if you go back to the example that I said about when I was, walking down the street and somebody giving me a compliment and I kind of just brush it off, that is often because of a lack of self-worth internally. So I'm going to give you 3 little exercises that are going to help. One of them is actually going to be a meditation when we'll finish that one at the end. But they're going to help allow ourselves to be more open to receiving. Number 1 is receive everything that comes. So for an entire week, for the next 7 days, I was going to say between this episode and next, but there is no episode next. So for the next 7 days or more, allow yourself to be open to receiving, whatever that means for you. So receiving compliments when strangers give you compliments or friends, receiving money. And when the money comes, allowing yourself to really feel the abundance, not just like feel the lack, because our brain often goes to that lack space, but feel the abundance that's there with everything that's being received. When somebody gives you a hug, when somebody looks at you in the eye, when they wave at you, when they smile at you. I moved to this new little town a couple of years ago, and we were living in this tiny little place, and everybody would wave at each other. And I found it really strange. And I was like, what are they? Do they think I'm someone else? Should I wave back? Or like, if I wave back, are they going to think that like I know who they are? Anyways, I just like got so in my mind about it. And at one point I just decided I'm just going to wave to everybody no matter what. And I think that is also a way we can receive love, right? Like, do we smile at people on the sidewalk? Do we wave at people? Do we say hi to people? Do we receive all that is there? Like, even if somebody is like genuinely asking us, like, how are you feeling? And we're like, just shut down to opening up about it. It's not that we have to like open up and share everything, but are we receiving their care? Are we receiving their concern? Are we allowing ourselves to just feel love? Because what they're really trying to share with us is love. Like there's love there that they have for us. There's empathy there. And are we receiving that as well? So allow yourself to receive everything that comes, no matter what it is, for at least 7 days, and then kind of journal about what your experience was. Was there some difficulty there? Was it hard for you to receive compliments? Was it hard for you to feel the abundance that came in when it came to money? And if there is something there, I would invite you to do another journaling prompt on self-worth. Do I feel worthy and of worth and value enough to receive this thing? You can even think back on a specific time when it was more difficult for you to receive the thing and ask yourself that question, like, what was blocking me from receiving this? Why didn't I feel like I could receive that thing? And again, this goes back into manifestation. If you're going to be trying to manifest something, the number one block I see from manifestation is self-worth. Do I think that I'm actually worthy enough to receive the thing that I want to manifest? Do I think I am enough? Do I think I am capable enough? Do I think I am amazing, unique, whatever enough that we need to believe about ourselves? Really, it's that enoughness. Number 2, the answers come when we're often doing something that is kind of unrelated to all of the other things. So, intuitive answers come more often than not when we're in creation. So, it could be singing a song, it could be out in nature, which I know doesn't really feel like creation, but we're out in creation. It could be when we're painting or drawing or writing. When we're doing something that gets us out of our logical brain, answers come. And by answers, I mean creative solutions, cool ideas, things to do next, things that will bless us, grow us, change us, things that are for us come to us when we're not really looking for them sometimes, right? Like, have you ever noticed that when you're in the shower, like that's when like inspiration and ideas come and you're like, oh, that's such a good idea. I got to go and write it down. Or maybe when you're like falling asleep, it's because your brain is allowing itself to relax. Your prefrontal cortex is like shutting itself down. Your logical brain is shutting itself down. And that subconscious mind where the flow, where the intuition is going to come, is going to open up a little bit more. So, receiving also comes from this idea of like, we're going to receive ideas, we're going to receive solutions, we're going to receive like cool new opportunities. All of that can come as well. And so we're going to give ourselves moments in time where we are either being still, or we're going to go do something fun, something creative, go on a walk through the woods and just notice how many ideas or solutions or just like thoughts, truth comes to us. And it might not even be like a solution, like, oh, I have this problem and I'm seeking a solution specifically to this. Like the idea that might come is like, you're going to be okay, or you are held, or things are going to work out for you, or something. Like it might just be a phrase that comes to you as well. So allow yourself to also be receiving answers. The last one that I want to share with you is one of my favorites, and it's a little exercise we're going to do, a little meditative exercise on the yes and the no. So, the yes and the no is our own internal compass, our own internal intuition of like, how can I feel a yes? How can I feel a no in my body? And how can I get used to what my body feels like when it's giving me that yes and giving me that no, so that I can be more familiar with it and just allow my intuition to run a little bit more? Because oftentimes we're just kind of going off of our own logical thinking brain and making our decisions in that way. And I have loved the life that I've been able to create when I have paused that side of myself and I have gone in the intuitive route and I have allowed myself to make decisions or pivots or changes that came from a space of inner knowing within my own self, and not having to feel like it's necessarily the most logical decision, but like it is the right thing for me. So get in a comfortable position. If you're driving, I don't know if you're going to be able to do this while you're driving. You might be able to, but like definitely don't close your eyes if you're driving and listening. Or if you're walking and listening, you might want to just like pause, pull over, sit down for a moment. Um, and we're going to start with our breath. So gently close your eyes. We're going to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Extending that inhale a little bit, imagining it's coming from the deepest parts of your belly, all the way up to your diaphragm, and relaxing all of those muscles. And with that exhale, slowly let it release. You can add a sound or a sigh to the exhale. And notice that as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, your body starts to relax and feel peaceful, to settle in. And as you settle in, I invite you to bring to your mind a time when something felt like a yes in your body. This can be an opinion or an idea, it can be an experience, a situation. When something that came up for you felt true to you, felt like a yes for you. You can go back to a time when maybe you made a big decision, like where to go to school or what to take in school, or maybe you were deciding about marriage or having a child or a business promotion or something like that. It can also be in the small moments of having a conversation with someone and just knowing that what they were saying or the opinions that were being shared felt like truth to you, and more than just in your mind, but in your body. Go to a moment in time where you felt this yes, like a full body yes. You just knew that it was right for you. You knew that the situation, the experience, the idea, the thought, whatever it was a yes for you. And not necessarily that you said yes, but you just knew in your body that it was a yes. And I invite you to stay in that moment for a moment and describe the feeling that's in your body. Does it feel open or closed? Does it feel expansive or constricting? Heavy or light? Fast or slow? Maybe you notice that it lands in a certain spot in your body. Describe that feeling to yourself. How does it feel? Using whatever words come to mind. Lean into that feeling, turn up that feeling, and just sit with it, getting familiar with how this feels, recognizing it, maybe even noticing other moments in time in the past when you were younger, or maybe even recently, where you felt this yes, either just a little or maybe a lot. And as you get familiar with this feeling, allow it to to settle in your body. Maybe add some breath to it. And know if the yes did not come in this moment, that you can try this practice again later, or you can just be open to receiving a yes whenever it wants to come, to noticing sometime over the next week when the yes comes into your body and you recognize it for what it is. And you notice how it feels for you. Now we're going to go to a no. So the same situation, but opposite. When is a time where you felt like something was just a no for you? Maybe a person or a relationship, an experience, a situation, an opportunity, a decision. You just knew. You didn't even have to ask your mind. It felt like a no in your body. And you go to a time like that. And again, it doesn't have to be a time when you said no. It's when something felt like a no for you. It doesn't have to be a conversation. It can be an experience or a situation where something just felt off, like it wasn't right. You felt that offness, you felt that no somewhere in your body, and we're going to go to the feeling again. Where do you feel it? Is it the entire body? Is there somewhere specific in your body where you feel it the most strong? What words would you use to describe that no for you? How does it feel for you in your body? Again, lean into that feeling, welcome that feeling. Notice even the tiny little differences between this no feeling and what the yes felt like. Once you've really been able to call in this feeling, I would invite you to think about moments in time where you remember, where you recognize this feeling, how it felt for you. Times in the past, maybe when you were younger, maybe recently, where you felt this no. And as you allow your body to notice the difference between this yes and no, notice that these two kind of opposing forces within that feel um, maybe opposite of each other, that you recognize them and you're familiar with them. And you can notice moments in time where they led you or they guided you in different areas of your life towards things and away from things. And maybe even allow yourself a moment to think about what has come because of that, or because of ignoring that, what has come. Take a moment again just to take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, kind of settling into that feeling. And knowing as well, if you weren't able to recall the no feeling in your body, you can come back and do this exercise anytime, or just be open to receiving the no whenever it wants to come. Maybe when you're in conversation with someone over the next week, maybe as you're just washing the dishes or walking down the street, you'll remember a time where that time will happen for you and you will feel that no. And just take a moment to pause and to describe that no to yourself. So as you come back to the space, to the room, to the sound of my voice, to open your eyes, receiving also is receiving these yeses and these nos. It's receiving answers, it's receiving ideas, it's receiving love, wealth, connection, experiences, even growth. How open are we to receiving things that are difficult to receive, where maybe we don't think we want them, but we also know that it's the thing that's going to help us grow the most? How do we receive those things? Receiving is an art. It's not something concrete that can be described or even explained. These are just a few little exercises that might help you kind of feel into that art, but it really is individual. It's really unique. It's your own thing. And I would just invite you over the next 6 weeks of this break to ask yourself, how can I be more open to receiving all that the world has for me, all that the universe has in store for me? Can I be open to receiving all that is there, all the love that is there around me? How would it feel to receive it all? How willing am I to receive that? And if you are feeling some blocks around that self worth or around getting clarity on how that feels for you, you can always reach out. I am taking individual coaching clients right now, and it'll be kind of cool. It's going to be a little different than I've done it before, where you'll just kind of book an hour once a week whenever you want to book it, and just come in anytime. No packages. You don't have to book any amount of sessions. You can just come book whenever you want. By the time you are listening to this podcast, all of that will be set up for you, and you'll be able to find a link to that in the show notes. And I look forward to working with as many of you as possible. And again, if you are feeling energy from this call, if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I want more of this. I want to dig into this. This is the work that's for me. This is exactly the work that we do at the retreat. And the retreat is like a very condensed, it's like 12 weeks, maybe even 6 months of coaching, like jam-packed into 3 days in a very open and expansive and not jam-packed feeling way. It's very restful. It's very supportive, but the growth and the change that will come will be very, very transformative. And it will be like you are coaching, healing, working through all of this for months in just a few days. So allow yourself that opportunity as well. If you are open to that, you can go to coachcrystal.ca/the-retreat. And thank you again for being here. I will see you in 6 weeks, and let's go receive all that there is for us to receive. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to help spread this work to the world, share this episode on social media and tag me. Send it to a friend or leave a quick rating and review below so more people can find me. If you'd like more guidance on your own parenting journey, reach out.